Okay, welcome back to Paddy's Golf Tips. I said recently that I felt this site, YouTube, was all about trying to get every single golfer in the world to single figure handicaps. So that's my aspiration. I want to help you all out. But I realised after I said it, and I went back to my Paddy's Golf Tips, that all the tips I've kind of been given are one-off in certain areas of the game and leaving it for you guys to put together. So I've decided now, in my next set of Paddy's Golf Tips, to do a plan for you. A set progression of what I would do if you came to me as a beginner, or if you came to me as a golfer who's playing for a number of years but is stuck, say, at a 18 handicap and wants to get down to 9, stuck at a 15 handicap. What I would say to you, this is especially relevant for somebody who wants to reset, whether you're starting and you want to go fresh, or whether you're playing for a while and you want to reset things and get back to a position that you can play off single figure handicap.
The winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Padraig Harrington.
Okay, welcome back to Paddy's Golf Tips on how to become a single figure golfer. We're here at Newport Beach Country Club at the Hogue Classic on the Champions Tour. They've been kind enough to let us use their facilities. So clearly putting, if you want to be a single figure golfer, this is the easiest way to get there. Be a decent putter. A decent putter. You don't have to be brilliant, but you got to be smart. Okay, we're going to cover a little bit of technique, but majority of being a good putter is being able to read the greens and understand the lines that you're picking and the type of putt you're going to try and hit. So technique wise, so what are we trying to do? In general, we're looking for a very stable lower body. So we don't want any twist here at all. We want this nice and stable, okay? We want to rock our shoulders and our rib cage. There's a little bit of rock back and forth. We want a shorter follow through than backswing. Now, clearly for most people, just start off putting, just hit your putts. I don't know if you have to think about this stuff once you start off. If it's going well, it's going well. But if you do need a little bit of technique, solid here. Here's a great tip. I've got my golf bag here. I'm going to use it as a prop. Basically, if I put my butt just touching the golf bag, I want to be able to hit putts without nudging the bag, increasing any pressure on the bag. So I'll show you that again. You can do this at home against a wall, basically. Put your butt lightly touching the wall, and you want to be able to hit the putt, right? So the upper body's moved, okay, but I haven't got any twist into the bag, okay? There's no extra pressure. And that would be true if I was hitting a long putt. Again, no extra bumping here. So that's a great way of practicing against the wall at home. Can you make a stroke that doesn't touch the wall any more than you are at address? Then the actual stroke. So with the stroke, we want a slightly longer, or forget about longer, we want a shorter follow through than backswing. So a great way of getting that is just put 2 tees down. Right, the other one, pretty solid in the ground. Now, this is not anything more than I'm only doing a drill here, so I've put them pretty solid in the ground. To put the ball just at the start of them there, like so. The ball will have to pass through, and I hit. The firmness of that gives me the feeling of nice backswing and a bit of a tap. So I would say when it comes to putting, do not call it a putting stroke, call it a putting tap, call it a putting wrap, but you're giving it a little bit of a tap, okay? We are not, the worst thing you can do in a putting stroke is have a long follow through, okay? That is not going to transfer the energy to the ball. It's much better off getting that solid hit on it, okay? A nice solid roll, okay? And a good way of practicing that would be a couple of tee pegs. Clearly, if I didn't have that, I could just put against something soft and get that nice feeling of a nice tap on your putts. Okay, that's very important for putting. So nice back tap, okay? Hips are staying still. I'm not shaking. and then the torso or the shoulders are having a nice rock. And the head. I don't like keeping my head still. I know that's sacrilege, I've said it. I keep my hips still, I rock my torso, my arms move with it, but I don't like keeping my head still. That could be so counterintuitive. So how do I practice? I find it very anxious to try and keep your head still. I just don't like it. So we now got our stroke. We're steady here. We're rocking. Shorter follow through. We've got a little bit of a tap. What are we going to do with our head and eyes? Because I don't like them staying still. So what you got to do, and this is assuming you want to learn this. If you're good at putting already, just go with it. But follow the ball with your eyes, not your head. So I always think this was the genius for me looking in at Tiger in his heydays. So keeping your head still has a tendency to back up, and as I said, it makes you anxious. But clearly we don't want to move forward too much because this will twist. What I like to do to give me the comfort of being able to watch my putt is I watch the ball in this area. If I move my head too quick, I'm not going to see here, I'm going to see. So if I move my head, I'm actually going to see the second half of the putt. I'm going to see this bit. Whereas I try and track the ball. So I try and track it, eyes and then head following the ball. That's what I like to do. I don't know if that will work for you, but I don't like the idea of staying still because I think a lot of people who stay still actually rock backwards. Okay, that's all there is to the technique. I have my hands left hand below right. Reason being is it squares my shoulders up. I have my hands facing each other, so basically if they did break, they'd break with the club face on target, so it wouldn't make such a big deal. Okay, so again, nice firm stroke. Okay, after that, putting, and this is more important than the first part. Stroke, some people think the stroke is important, but what's more important is you actually know where to line up, reading the greens, okay? So, from my experience, well, first of all, people struggle to read the greens, okay? Reading the greens is trial and error for a lot of people. It's experience, okay? Generally, the greens will slope from whatever is the high point away from that, down a hill, down to a lake. From here in Newport, we're going to slope down to the, as this is going that way, it's sloping straight to the water. The green has to drain, so the water will run to the lowest point. So generally it will go that way. Watch your playing partner's putts, watch your first putt, see how it's breaking. That's how you learn. And from experience you go, oh yeah, I remember something looked like this and this is what it did. So it's just trial and error. That means that oftentimes you're going to have to play in your own 9 holes, and every time you hit a putt, hit a second putt, hit a third putt to get a feel for where you're right or wrong with the line. If you hit a really chronically bad feeling putt, it's more likely that it was your line that was out. So if you were trying to start a putt left lip and it was actually 2 foot left, well, it won't feel good and you'll actually hit a bad putt. Not just miss it, but it will feel bad. So if it really feels bad, or if you feel bad standing over a putt, always go with more break. And I would say, once you get outside 5-6 feet, from 5 or 6 feet, I like to hit every putt at the correct pace anyway. I don't ever want to hit a putt firm. I would like to hit it at the same pace, but you cannot get away with the wrong pace. So like if you're 15 feet in the hole, you can't jam it in there. You've got to actually take the right break, the right pace. And generally, as I said, it's 3 times what most people would reckon. So if you think it's a foot, it's probably 3 feet. So we're going to do a little experiment here. I've got a left to right putt I've been hitting. By the way, I probably should have started this off. Pace is way more important than anything else when you're learning your putting, and through your whole putting career. There's no point in hitting the ball too hard. And I know some silly people would say never up, never in. Got to be the stupidest piece of advice you'll ever get in golf. You'll be a terrible putter. The fact is, you're trying to hit a great putt every time. Sometimes it will come up short. That's just life if you're trying to hit a great putt. But you've no point in hitting it too hard, especially hitting it too hard too late, as in picking 6 inches left and then drilling it through the line and feeling good that you hit it 3 feet by. Who cares? It's the wrong line, you choked. Hit the right pace putt. Always concentrate on your pace when you're starting out. Get a good feel for pace, and that will help you read the greens. The guys who can't read greens, guys and girls who can't read greens, it's because they're always hitting the putts too hard and they're not getting proper feedback. So you want to have good pace control in order to be able to read the greens. Remember a couple of things. I've covered all these in Paddy's golf tips in detail. Anything that's pale is downhill. Anything that's dark is uphill. So that's an easy way. If the hole is burnt on one side, it's breaking towards that. Okay, so those are easy things. If you stand over it and it feels awkward, go with more break. Add break, never take break out of a putt. Okay, and generally, you know, there are people who will feel putts going across the line. For me, I just put one hand down and sort of set my feet and look up, and generally you'll go to the slope. So if I look up here, you know, that just feels too tight. I'm aiming like 18 inches left, and hang on a second, now I'm up there nearly 3 feet left, and that feels comfortable. I'll hit more good putts from the place I feel comfortable than the awkward place. So don't be afraid to add break and go with bigger breaks. So I've just said, I thought this putt was 18 inches left. It feels about 3 feet left. Let's actually figure it out, okay? Just for experience. Okay, we're gonna have good pace. Again, pace is everything. I've seen so many pro-ams where I've given a line, I might say this is a foot left, and the person, you know, from 20 feet hits it 6 feet by and says, oh, it didn't break, and I'm going, whoa, yes, it did break. It just had no chance over the first 20 feet to break. So, right, if that was our point, I'm gonna go up here. Right. So we'll say that's about 3 feet. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we've picked 3 feet of break. Now the temptation would be to come along here and go with 18 inches. Oh, what a lovely putt. Nearly went in. That's the temptation. But that's no use to you. That's going to make you a bad putter, hitting it that hard. You're never going to understand reading of the greens unless you have good pace. So good pace, we're going to accept anything up to 2 feet by the hole. Okay? They say 17 inches is ideal, but we're going to take anything up to 2 feet because you can walk up and tap in 2 feet. Now, this feels so high. So hopefully I'm going to start it on the line. Oh, perfect. So you can see a lot of amateurs would think the first putt was the right way to put it, but the pace was all wrong. It was never going to go in the hole. Even if it hit the back of the hole, it would have to be perfect. That putt there, it was stone dead, never in trouble. But you can see when you give it the correct pace, it's nearly 3 times what you think it is. I really shouldn't hit another one. I really shouldn't, but you know. So here we go again. You can see I'm 3 feet left. Little firmer. Oh God. If only I could bring this string out in the golf course. You're going to have to learn this. You're going to have to learn your starting lines. You're going to have to put with dead weight putting to start off with. Pace is more important than anything else. Yes, we want a solid stroke with our hips. We want to rock. We want to get that feeling of a little bit of a tap. We want to follow it with our eyes, then head. Okay, we don't want to back up. But ultimately, you're going to have to learn the pace of the greens. Usually, it's 3 times more break than you think you know. So probably the only way you're going to do this is by hitting multiple balls. I had hoped to have a basketball here that was stripy and roll it out there so it would show you how much a ball breaks. Maybe you should do that at home. Get a multicolored ball and roll it on the green and watch how it breaks, how it curves. But the main thing is, if you want to be a good putter, you're going to have to give it its due break. And again, I've seen so many bad putters that when they get to 3 feet, they're trying to, 3-4 feet, they're trying to hit it dead straight. If the break is right lip from 4 feet, you've got to hit it right lip. That's just the way it is. You've got to be brave and hit the right break. You'll be a much better putter if you overbarrow, as in hit with too much break, than you will be if you underbarrow. So if in doubt, always go with more break.